Hi there, this is Tracy with Totally Trace, and I am really excited to craft with you tonight. So I am doing a one sheet wonder. So we're going to take one 6x6 designer series sheet of paper, and we're going to make 3 cards with it. And I'm going to actually show you 2 different versions of it. So I hope you will craft along with me. My goal is to do these about once every 2 months. So go back and look on my YouTube channel and you can find my past ones, but here I am tonight. So here's the template that we have. And so this is a 6x6 sheet of cardstock, and I've done the measurements for you. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, hold your camera up to it, depending on the device that you are. These are the measurements that we are using. So your first cut is going to be here at 3 inches. So you're going to cut all the way down, and then you'll have that piece set aside. I'm just going to show you what will be there. Okay, so once you've made that cut, you can cut all these. So this is a 3x3, and then these are all 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. I'm sorry, 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. All right, then your next cut is going to want to be here. You're going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. You're going to have this 3-inch piece. You're going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. And I'll be honest, I've lost that piece. So I'm not going to have that on here. And then again, once you've done that, you can cut anything. I like to cut 1/4 inch off first. So that's that piece. And then you'll have 3 pieces that you'll cut at 1 3/4 each. Okay, so that's what your one sheet wonder is going to look like. Again, I've lost this piece, but it's okay. I didn't have a plan to use it in my card, which is probably why it disappeared on me. But I am going to show you a version where I do use that. So I'm using the lovely Blossoms paper. It is back in stock. It's been really popular. It's sold out a few times. I just double checked before coming on live and was like, please be there, please be there. And it is there. And so I just want to show you this beautiful paper. It's possibly my favorite of all time. So you get 12 by 12 sheets, but it only has, I'm trying to think, I think there were 3 sheets. So normally you get 2 each of 6. No, there were 4 sheets. So this you get 3 sheets, 3 each of 4 sheets. So again, this paper is just stunning. It was really easy to make beautiful cards with it. And so I'm using it for a one sheet wonder today. I mean, I could keep going. I've got so many of these cards using it. I just love it. And then if you know me, you know I love my secret C. And I'm just realizing I haven't turned on my lights, so it's a little dark. But it's going to have to stay that way because I can't reach all my lights right now. All right, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to move all these off just so that you can see those measurements again. So if you're just joining, I'm doing a one sheet wonder. Here are the measurements. And again, if you are on my newsletter, my email list, I did send this to you in the weekly newsletter. So you have a picture of this so that you can use this anytime. And again, right now, screenshot it, take a picture, whatever you need to do. So the first card that I am going to make is going to use this piece and this piece. So again, that 3x3, and then 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Sorry, I'm just behind the scenes getting this ready. I've got a white card base. And then I've made a Secret C mat. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I've got another sheet, so that's another white, and that one would be 5 by 3 3/4. All right, and then we've got our 3x3 designer series paper, and I've just matted that. I think I went up 1/8 of an inch, so 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, 3 1/8 square. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this here and this here, and of course we're going to cut off that excess. All right, so there is the card base. Now we're going to jazz it up, And because I'm using that Lovely Blossoms paper, I also pulled out the Lovely Arrangements bundle. Now, I did check. This one is still unavailable. It hasn't come back in stock yet. But any flowers, any sentiments that you have would work. So I am going to stamp these flowers. I'm going to do it in Secret C. I have my phone up too high, so I can't see who's popping in. So if you're here, say hi in the comments. Let me know you're here. I hope that you are making some cards with me, or at least taking notes so that you can copy this one sheet wonder. So I'm going to do one big flower. And then I'm going to do 2 of these small. And then in this bundle, you can die cut both of those. And then it has these great leaves. So I have actually already prepared that. So I went ahead and I die cut this. And then look, I made the leaves in Secret C. I hope it's not coming across too dark to you guys. It just looks really dark in my room. But again, I forgot to turn on some of the lights before I went live. All right, so what I was thinking is, and I've got to think sentiment. So I don't know. I'm just going to lay these flowers on here some way, put these leaves in. So there's a double leaf, and then look, there's also this single leaf. All right, and then I don't know if I die cutted a, is that a word, die cutted? I don't know if I die cut. What's the past tense of cutted? Just cut, I guess. It does not look like I prepared one. So let me pull out a scrap. Oh, that's very vanilla. I want Whisper White. And then, of course, I know I've said it before, I absolutely love the sentiments on here. Oh, I can see. I see Teresa's joined me. Hi, Teresa. So happy birthday. Just to know, you are so lovely. I think I do want one of these thinner ones to go across. Let's do, I'm going to do just a note. Oh, I've already pulled it out. I was panicking, thinking I'd lost the stamps. And again, I'm going to do it in Secret C. Oh, I've got to sneeze. Hopefully, since I said it, it won't actually come out. All right, and then I'm just going to trim this down. So again, if you're just popping in, I'm doing a one sheet wonder right now. I'm on my first card. I'm going to make 3 cards out of 1 sheet of designer series paper. I'm thinking that will go there. Okay, let me get this base glued down. So again, a typical card base, 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And then each layer I've gone down 1/4 inch. So this one is 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm using Secret C. And then a white layer, and this is 5 by 3 3/4. Hi there, Jan. Oh, and I definitely should have glued this down first to see how to make it line up. But since I knew that was 3 3/4, I'll just go ahead and trim it. And hope I trimmed it right. Yes, I did. Okay. All right, and then here, so for this card, I've got my 3 by 3, and then this 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, which I did trim down. So I'm just going to put this here. that didn't look straight. I had to fix it. And then I did mat this on a piece of crumb cake, which is a 3 1/8 inch square. And then we're just going to glue this down. Okay, and now let's figure out these flowers again. I'm thinking something like that. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to pull out my crumb cake marker. Let's see, I think it's this one. Oh, nope, that's ivory. And I pulled out the light, and I'm just going to add, oh, that does seem kind of dark. That's all right, it's very pretty. Just add a little bit of color there in the center. And we'll pop the big one up. And let's glue this one. These flowers are so pretty. Do you have this set? I feel like as many times it has been sold out and come back in stock, everyone in the world must have this one. Yep, I'm liking that. And then I'll pop this up. Oh, let me get these leaves in first before all that dries. And my single one we'll put over here. And then I'm going to get a mini dimensional. Whoops. Doesn't look like I cut this very straight, but that's all right. Just shows that it's homemade. All right, so there is card number 1. Very cute. How about some bling? I didn't pull any of that out either. I've got some of these still left over, but I don't think I like it with that. With this suite, it had the most beautiful gems, and I think I have some of those, but probably on the spot, I'm not going to be able to find them. Oh, yes, I am. And I did not look to see if these were in stock, but I mean, look, I just love the colors. You've got the Secret Sea. It's called, they call it Old Olive, I think, in this pack, but it's somewhere between Granny Apple Green and Old Olive. And then the cloud cover and the white. And of course, we're going to use Secret Sea on this. There we go. All right, now I did make another set with this using the Florals and Bloom paper. And so let me show you what that looks like. So again, any paper that you have really does work. And then this one, instead of laying it like this, which I did here, I have it going sideways. And then I use the Words of Beauty. Again, another one that I love the sentiments on that. Okay, so both of these are coming from a one sheet wonder. So I used one sheet for this and one sheet for this. So I'm going to move on to the next card. Let me just pull out the template for you again. So now we've used this one and this one. And let's see what card I am making next. It's getting to be a little bit messy here. All right, so the next one, I'm using these pieces. So your first cut is at 3 inches, and then you're gonna cut 3 inches off for that, and then you're gonna make 1.5 inch squares. Okay, and then for this one, my base is crumb cake. And then I made another crumb cake mat, so 5 1/4 by 4. And then let's see. I'm going to show you a trick with these. So you've probably seen this card a lot where you just put the 4 squares like that or like that. With this one, I felt like that wasn't quite working. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to make this look like more. So I have just a white piece of paper and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on it, and I'm going to do always here for you. Hi Sherry, thanks for joining. Learning a new one sheet wonder today. Okay, now I'm going to stamp this in the middle. I did not measure this, so we're probably going to have to cut this down, but I'm just going to stamp it in the middle. And now if we put it here, again, we're going to cut it down, but now it doesn't look like I have 4 pieces. It looks like I have 2 strips, which I feel like just gives it a little bit more of a, I don't know the word I'm looking for. I think it looks better. But right now it's definitely too long, but I think I'm liking the width. So let me get this measurement here for you in case you're doing the same thing. So it's 1.5, and right now I've got it at 5. So let's cut 3/4 of an inch off each side. So now it's going to be 3.5 inches. All right, that might be okay. So now same thing, I use those same flowers, and I've already stamped those and die cut them, and I've got 2 of them. But this time I'm going to use, instead of die cutting those stems that are detailed, I'm going to do this. Hi there, Sherry. And I'm going to stamp them in crumb cake. Let's see, I pulled out a scrap. Let's see if it's big enough. Oh, yeah. All right, look at how old this, do any of you remember this shape of stamp pads? It still inks though. Oh, and I see Terry just popped in. Welcome, Terry. Okay, so stamped in crumb cake. And then, of course, this bundle has a die for that. I had a class this weekend, and for a lot of the ladies there, it was their first time die cutting, and each time they were clapping for themselves. Because it really is a cool thing that you can just lay a die on top and it cuts it for you. So again, there's a die. It lays right on top of there. I've already done that. And then, I don't know. We're going to play. We're going to see how it looks. All right, I might like that, but I still think this needs to be trimmed down a little bit more. And I'm only going to trim this side now because I can hide the other side underneath flowers. Let's see how 1/2 inch off looks. Okay, yep, I think that is looking much better. So I'm going to start gluing some of this down. And then again, I'm using Lovely Blossoms paper with you live to make this card. But I'll be showing you florals in bloom. So it'll have all the same measurements for the One Sheet Wonder, but you can see how it goes. Something I didn't mention is when you're doing a One Sheet Wonder, you just want to make sure that both sides of the paper coordinate. So for example, I could lay it like this. Because the colors coordinate, they look good together. Not all papers do that. So if you're trying this, make sure that you like both sides together. And I think on my other sample, I did mix them. So we'll take a look. But I might be lying about that. And I'm really separating these because I'm going to put this sentiment in the middle. And I'm going to make it look like it's one long strip. See how it kind of disguises that? And I am going to glue this. I'm just trying to design again here, thinking about how to look. Yep, I like the flowers just like that. I am going to pop up both of them. Oh, I wonder if I should have colored the centers of this one too. That's all right. Let's see, did I leave enough room over here? Oh, sure I did. All right, and there is card number 2 out of our One Sheet Wonder. And then I'll show you, so again, I'm doing it with the Lovely Blossom. So here's 2 cards that we've made with that. And then let me show you your alternative. So here it is with the florals in bloom. So instead of doing color on color, I did strawberry slush on white. And then remember that piece I said I lost right here? On this one, I had the 4 separate, and then I put that piece down here too. And then I just layered it with this is the Florals of Beauty die cuts on it. So, right, it looks completely different, even though it's coming from the same One Sheet Wonder. Same measurements, everything. All right, so let's move to the last card. So what we have left is we have these 3 pieces right here. Those are the 3 pieces. Okay. And then I have a Secret Sea base, 8.5 by 5.5. And then my mat, I have the Lovely Striped embossing folder. And so this one is like, it gives these really great stripes, but your paper does need to be a little bit longer when you run it through because it shrinks the paper to make all these details. So the width is still the same. This is 4, but normally I go 5 1/4 this way. I went 5 and probably 3/8, like an extra 1/8 of an inch just for when it runs through. Otherwise it looks a little short. So we're gonna have that. And then these 3 pieces, are going to lay just like that. If you saw, I recently did an Easter card. I think it was my Saturday live. I did an Easter card that had this exact same layout. This is a layout from one of the catalogs. You know how they put those fun layouts in there now? All right, I pulled out the flower. I've already die cut it. And then this is also in that bundle for the sentiments. So let me get my secret C again. And again, if you're on my email list, I did send these measurements out. If you're not on my email list, go ahead and join. It's in the comments section. I promise, like, I'm not spamming you all the time. I send a weekly newsletter. And if there's like a great sale, I'll send that to you. But you're not going to be receiving, like, you know, some places I'm getting 3 to 4 emails a day from the same place. That's not going to happen. You're going to get like twice a week at most, probably. But in it, you'll find out about all my lives. You'll get free tutorials when I have them. I guess I'm doing sending smiles. I'm talking and I didn't even realize what I pulled off there. So we're going to do sending smiles. That's all right. I love that sentiment. You'll find out about my classes on there. Any sales that are going on with Stampin' Up! Or with me. All that is in my newsletter. And it goes out on Sundays. I try to send it at around 6 p.m. So the measurements for this, I did send out in last week's newsletter. And I can keep them again for this week's, for any of you that are watching and still want to grab it. All right, so come on. And then I was just thinking something like that. I did pull out this Secret C ribbon. It is, I don't know, it's a type of ribbon. Well, I gotta look at this side. Open weave, nope, bordered open weave. I love this ribbon. It's a little sheer and it's so easy to tie bows. And they come out really pretty. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to tie a bow. Come on. There we go. Let's see. Maybe like that. All right, let me get some of this glued down and we'll see really where that bow is going to go. And then I'll show you the alternative for this one too. And then don't forget, next week I'm live again at 5:30 and I have a class. Again, people on my email list, my newsletter, you'll be able to order the class for free, or not for free, you'll be able to order it first. The way things are selling out and Stampin' Up, I can only guarantee a limited amount of kits right now. Because if you're having trouble getting supplies, I am too. They've got such cute stuff, everything's going. So that will go out on Sunday, and then I will be live on Wednesday making the cards, and that'll be your video to use. So join me next week. I think tomorrow I'm going to post a hint of what it is. I wonder, what will this look like just underneath? Yep, I think I like that. Okay. So I just ran a little tape down there. Oh, that might be a little bit too much. There we go. Oh, picking up flowers. And then we'll just bend it. We're just kind of making like a faux bow here. And then you could secure this down again with like the tear and tape if you want. But we're going to trap it with this. We're going to make sure that that doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a dimensional there. And then we'll put a little bit there. And so we know that's not going anywhere. Oh, that looks really cute. I like that. Gosh, I wonder if my Sending Smiles is too big now. No, it's adorable. I'm going to use it. All right, and then of course, because I'm using my Secret C, I am just going to put a white piece on the inside. I have a cat attacking my toes right now. All right, so there is the third card of our One Sheet Wonder. So these are the 3 cards I made using just one sheet of 6x6 Designer Series paper. And so for, how many sheets come in there right now? Why can't I think? 12. So you could actually make, so you have 48 of those times 3. I don't know, that math doesn't seem right, but I'm live and I don't want to think through it. So let me show you the alternative for, oh, this one I just made. So again, oh, there we go. Same One Sheet Wonder, all of them use this, but depending on the paper that you use, look at this cute one where the butterflies in it too. Love those gold butterflies. All right, I hope you loved these cards. I hope you will try and use this One Sheet Wonder, make your own version. And I will see you live next Wednesday, where I will be live with a class, and you'll have to find out later this week exactly what that class is. Thanks for joining me tonight. Feel free to share this, like it, love it, send me a comment, and I will see you next week.